Dr. Jeff, Monday Facebook live sessions. So, I hear a lot of talk about out in the world of epigenetics, and it's getting thrown around a lot. And I don't think most people understand what that is. So I thought I would explain it a little bit in the way that I understand it, and also how it's related to the plant medicine that we're using here at Rythmia. So all of us have DNA strands, and that's in all of our cells. It's involved with cell replication and cell growth. And DNA is a double helix, right? You've seen the picture of a double helix. And when we're going to code for proteins that are needed in our body, or when there's cell division, the DNA unzips. So the two strands unzip, and messenger RNA goes in and starts coding on the sequence of the DNA for different things that our body needs to survive and to live and to grow. And sometimes the messenger RNA will be coding on the DNA strand, and there's a mutation. And sometimes those mutations are bad for us, and they're negative. Sometimes those mutations are irrelevant, and they make the protein ineffective. Sometimes those mutations help us, and they're good things that happen through time and evolution and things like that. However, I'm going to talk about the ones that are not so good. So let's say my DNA strand keeps coding, my messenger RNA keeps coding for a mutated portion of my DNA that kicks out a protein that is involved in a type of cancer, let's say. Well, I don't want to keep producing that protein, right? So what I will do as a person, once I realize this, is I will try to have my messenger RNA code it differently. Now, how the heck am I supposed to do that, right? How's that possible? Well, there's a lot of studies out recently that show you can alter the way that the messenger RNA codes for the proteins on your DNA strand. And there's lots of ways that they're finding that you can do this. One of them is mindfulness, having that intention. I don't want to have this condition anymore. I want to fix myself, and I want to connect with myself and heal myself. And it's a mindfulness. There's meds that do this. Medication can do this. It's becoming more available. Also, meditation can do this. Also, what's happening, by the way, obviously, always healthy eating is a good way to do this as well, and drinking juices and healthy stuff, right? But also, ayahuasca is being theorized to do this. And there's a study out right now that's being conducted that shows that a particular protein that codes for the way we store traumatic memories and emotions is being adjusted when people drink ayahuasca. And this is conducted through saliva tests on a pre and a post thing that they're doing in the UK. Very exciting stuff. So how do you stop your messenger RNA from coding along a protein DNA strand? You have to do what's called methylation. So you add methyl groups that are kind of like stop points. So you interrupt the coding process. So as the messenger RNA starts coding along the DNA strand, it hits a stop point with a methyl group, and it either just unplugs or stops coding that protein and moves on and goes to the next and jumps over and continues. So that's how that works to block the negative DNA expression that's happening. Another way is that the DNA gets coiled around these proteins called histones that do not allow the DNA to open and unzip so you can code. That's another way that's being looked at. So histone formation and the coiling of DNA around that. And that's, by the way, that's done naturally anyway in our body to make the DNA compact. Because if you took a DNA strand and lengthened it out, it would be like super long. It wouldn't fit into your tiny little cell. So the way you fit them in there is you coil them around these histones, right? So they kind of get in these globs. And so if you're going to code for it, you need those histones to unravel it and open it up. But epigenetics keeps those histones locked down on certain areas of the DNA strand that are problematic. So it's very exciting stuff that ayahuasca is involved potentially in this process. And so it's too early to state, at least scientifically, at least journal-wise, peer review-wise, it's too early to state that that's like a super, super viable thing. But there's a lot of really good research that's going down right now to investigate it. And anecdotally, guests report having all kinds of alterations with their DNA and their messenger RNA and all this kind of health behaviors that are improved from doing their plant medicine weeks at Rythmia. So this is not just a Rythmia thing. It's a common ayahuasca theme in the world, that there's a lot of healthy scientific things that are potentially happening. But nonetheless, there's a lot of mindfulness, a lot of intention setting There's a lot of amazing things that are occurring. Now, why would we want to know about how we store traumatic memories, right? Why is that important? Well, we all know that ayahuasca is very good at working with trauma and helping trauma be released. A lot of military veterans do ayahuasca, sit with ayahuasca and get healing. A lot of us that weren't military but have trauma from childhood or recent get to process it and work on it. And the reason is because parts of the brain during a plant medicine session become visual, have a lot of contact with memory, and also have an emotional component. So those three things surface based on different parts of our limbic system, our prefrontal cortex, our amygdala, also a part of the brain, which lots of parts of the brain called the default mode network. And that is a lot of different parts of the brain that have to do with our self-perception and what we view and think of ourselves. So if I have depression, one trait of depression is often rumination. And rumination is when I'm looking at these negative things all the time, like I'm not a good person, I'm not a good person, I'm not a good person, like that, like ruminating on it. Or I don't deserve to be happy, and I just ruminate. And that's gone on for so long because I'm depressed, and that's feeding into it. So I need a break from that sort of rumination. So what happens when you drink ayahuasca is your default mechanism network slows down so that you don't have that loop anymore. And then a visualization of certain events, a memory mechanism pops up from things that might have gone on in the past, and then an emotional release occurs. And then you can reframe and shift what's going on for you, and you can change this rumination into something positive, or just get rid of it completely and have a different view of yourself. And so that's a really exciting also study that's going on, that has been going on, about plant medicine in particular for depression. So there's a lot of exciting things going on. I like to look at the science side of stuff. My background in public health at UCLA helped prepare me for that. Also my doctorate in psychology, also my training in running different medical facilities over the years. I've been in the healthcare field 32 years and managing different things and components, working with lots of different doctors and nurses and scientists and all kinds of people. And just being around it all the time, it's kind of like it's helped me have a base to understand this kind of stuff. And when I'm reading journal articles, I get it, I understand, I'm consulting with people a lot. So it's really exciting. I love this stuff. So that's the science side a little bit of what's going on, and there's a lot of promising hope for the future with this. So the bottom line is there's a lot happening every week at Rythmia. There's beautiful transformations happening. This week we have Taito Juanito here. We're sold out. It's always fun to have a big crowd. Everything's going really well. And we look forward to seeing you down here, hopefully at your earliest convenience. Come down to Costa Rica. It's a pura vida country. Love to see you. Thanks for watching.